My name is Bill Hedges. I am the former Pulitzer Prize-winning Middle East Bureau Chief for the New York Times. I spent 7 years covering the Middle East, including Gaza and the West Bank. I'm an Arabic speaker. During my time in the Middle East, I was based first in Jerusalem and later in Cairo. I'm also the author of 16 books and have taught at Columbia, New York University, Princeton, and Rutgers. I live in Princeton. I strongly oppose this bill, A3558, because it expands anti-Semitism's definition to include most anti-Zionist expressions for the purpose of civil rights law. This is a dangerous assault on free speech by seeking to criminalize legitimate criticism of Israeli policy. The Trump administration's campaign to ostensibly root out anti-Semitism on college campuses is clearly a trope to shut down free speech, deport non-citizens, even if they are here legally. This bill falsely collapses ethnicity with a political state. And let's be clear, the brunt repression on college campuses was directed against students and faculty who opposed the genocide in Gaza, 3,000 of whom were arrested and hundreds of whom were censored, suspended, or expelled. Many of these students are Jewish. What about their rights? What about their constitutional protections? I have had numerous relationships with Israeli journalists and political leaders. I knew, for example, former Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who negotiated the Oslo peace agreement. Rabin was assassinated in 1995 by an Israeli ultra-nationalist who opposed the peace accord. Rabin stated bluntly on numerous occasions that the occupation was harmful to Israel. Israeli colleagues frequently criticized Israeli policies in the Israeli press in language that would be defined as anti-Semitic by this bill. For example, the Israeli journalist Gideon Levy, who served in the Israeli army and writes for the newspaper Haaretz, has called for sanctions to be imposed on Israel to stop the slaughter in Gaza, saying, quote, "Do to Israel what you did to South Africa." Omer Barkov, who served as an Israeli company commander in the 1973 war, is professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Brown University. He stated in an article on July 15th in the New York Times that his, quote, "inescapable conclusion has become that Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people." These kinds of statements and many more I can quote from Israeli colleagues and friends would see them under this bill criminalized as anti-Semites. As someone who speaks and writes frequently about the conflict, I fear that any criticism I make of the Israeli government, although grounded in my long experience in the region, will make me a target if this measure is adopted. It is imperative, especially with the press under attack from the Trump administration, that we do not erode our constitutional protected speech and political expression. Thank you.